Question 1A, we have figure 1 shows a model of a DNA molecule coiled into a double helix. A double helix has 2 strands of DNA. Use a word from the box to complete the sentence. The 2 strands of DNA are held together with something bonds. So our options are phosphate, sugar, hydrogen, or strong. The 2 DNA strands, this is one DNA strand, this is the second, are held together with weak hydrogen bonds, which hold the base pairs, the bases together. A section of a gene from one person was sequenced. Give the sequence of the complementary strand of DNA. So complementary, meaning that which match together. So we have 4 bases in DNA. We have A for adenine, T for thymine, C for guanine, and C for cytosine. And you should remember that A always pairs with T, and C always pairs with G. So we've got T, which would pair with A, G, which would pair with C, T pairs with A pairs with T, G pairs with C, C pairs with G. You have to know which ones join together. There's a couple of different ways of remembering it. You could say that the apple goes in the tree, A and T, or the car goes in the garage, C and G. Or you could remember that the C and G are sort of the curly letters that sort of look like each other. They pair together. You must know which of the base pairs pair together. The question then goes on. When the same gene, this is important, so the same gene was sequenced in a different person, the sequence was ATTT AGCC, which is different from the sequence here. The sequence here is ATGT AGCC. So that G has been replaced with a T. Explain why this shows the gene has more than one allele. So an allele is a different version of the same genes, an example of which would be everyone has a gene for hair colour, but we all have different alleles. Some people have blonde hair colour, some people have brown. It's the same gene because it's for hair colour, but it's a different version because one's brown, one's blonde. So the reason that the T has changed to a G, so we need to say the base G, I think, let me just check. Yeah, the base G has turned to a T. Showing that there is a different version of the same gene. That's the definition of an allele, different version of the same gene. So I'll just put i.e. Another allele. You get 1 mark for noticing that the sequence has changed, the G changed to a T, and then another mark for explaining the definition of an allele. So moving on, question 1B. Sickle cell anemia is a recessive genetic condition, so we're going to highlight that, which affects the shape of a person's red blood cells. A child inherits either a dominant or a recessive allele from each parent. A child must inherit 2 recessive alleles to be affected by the condition. Figure 2 shows a Punnett square with the parental genotypes completed. So they've already filled in the genes that the parents have. They are both heterozygous. They have 1 dominant allele and 1 recessive allele. Complete the Punnett square to show the genotypes of the offspring. So this one and this one are going to join together. So we get capital B from mum, capital B from dad, capital B from mum, lowercase b from dad there, capital B from dad this time, lowercase b from mum this time, lowercase b from dad this time, and a lowercase b from mum. Now remember in the question it said they must inherit 2 recessive alleles, so 2 lowercase, to be affected by the condition. Next question, calculate the percentage chance, you must put it in a percentage, not in a fraction, of a child being born with sickle cell anemia. Well, we have only 1 child inherited the 2 recessive alleles here, out of 4. 1 out of 4 expressed as a percentage would be 25%. Next question here. Give the reason why the parent's genotype is described as heterozygous. We've covered that already. Heterozygous, hetero means different. You can be heterozygous or homozygous. You can have two of the same alleles, like this child does, or this child does. They're homozygous. Or you can be heterozygous, two different alleles, the mother and the father. So the reason why their genotype is described as heterozygous, they have two different alleles. One dominant, which is the capital letter, and one recessive.